Hi there, Cancer. Welcome to Jive Tarot and your 9 card spiritual read for September. How y'all doing? I'm ready to see what's going on with you or what's about to go on. Oh, my Cancer. Oh, my Cancer. What a wonderful trip it's been so far, yeah? Okay. So this is the Eight of Wands. I see that it might be time to start exploring new avenues as far as direction, contacts, work-related or actions, avenues. A little bit of travel could be in your future. Because it's been mainly about work for a minute now for you, kind of exiling and alienating yourself from sorts of relationships that do not step out and prepare you, I guess, in a way. All right, Cancer. Let's see if I can get something else to go with this 8. This hard-earned solidification, or should I say like perfection. Oh, and the Page of Wands. I'd say you're ready. I'd say it's seeming like you're ready. Stability at its finest. It could be people that you're surrounding yourself with are of like mind. It could be a work-related meeting, gathering, or other things. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to center around. But I am seeing this expo of sorts. I am seeing a large gathering of people. I'm seeing a building expo. I'm seeing roofing and other things like that. So you could be building a house. You could be wanting to build a house. You could be putting together your team. You could be repairing, moving, other things like that. Or you just could be working on. In the most recent past, there was an inability to release. There was an inability to let go of something you were holding too tight to a concept, to an idea, to an expectation, to a relationship, to an old way of thinking, to staying at home or staying in the same city, right? Whatever the idea was, it was almost becoming stagnant, right? All right, let's look a little bit deeper at your current. It's a story time. We got a story time instead. There was some forward movement, a coming out, even with fear, but over surpassing those fears. Now, this reading is for September, so lo and behold, if this is what it's looking like for you, where we move forward, right? Right? We come out. We're not sitting and waiting for things to come to us anymore. We're not sitting and just waiting to think about plans. We're actually putting them into action. No matter how fearful or how worried we are or how nervous we were about, maybe they weren't going to be there, maybe they weren't going to show up, maybe they weren't going to hire me, or whatever you were worried about. I see you stepping out of those fears, flipping those fears on their head and coming out, right? Okay, most possible current energy. It's an investing time, investing energy, right? There is also an idea of taking inventory, but then pulling up things that no longer serve you. How about that most possible future? Ooh, the Hangman. Person that you're dealing with. Person or situation Cancer is dealing with. There's that 9 of Swords in reverse, though. It could have been through talking with them you learned how to let go of the fears, the things that you were worried about. All right, doors they could be opening. I wouldn't stay around this person too much. They might have already served their purpose, right? Just to help you break free. Sometimes anger is a good tool to help you overcome obstacles and limitations or things that might have held you back before. Sometimes, but not for very long increments, if you get my drift. That conscious. Okay, with the Six of Cups and the Moon in reverse. Card of Pisces. Let's see. Let's see what else we got. How about that conscious? How about that subconscious? I want to look a little bit deeper. Oh, okay. All right. We're going to get past that. I promise you. That Five of Cups. How would you handle it in the past? How would my Cancer have handled it in the past? King of Swords. Right, we're going to leave that sideways. And the King of Pentacles in the upright. Sure, stable, sound, earthly energy. Bottom of the deck, it's overwhelming. It's paying attention to very small details. It is going over and beyond obsessively learning or inquiring, asking questions that they're not need to know answers. They're not need to know questions. They are everything that you could possibly dream of. Like you're asking, you're paying attention, you're learning, you're opening up those avenues. So what I have here is that whatever you were holding on excruciatingly tight to, you're learning how to release and let go. Invest in other opportunities and take the inventory and realize, like, weigh out the pros and cons. Wait a second. Why was I tied up in that for so long? Why did I do that? Why did I do that to myself? But it's almost like you're washing your hands of it. Can't believe squeeze blood out of a turnip here. I am also feeling that there's a person that you're dealing with that's possibly, they're kind of over and beyond worried about or worrying about whatever you had brought to the table, whatever you decided that you were going to worry about. They could tell you were focusing on it. They could tell that's where your mind was drifting off to. And they were like, no. See, we don't worry about that here. Because if we're worried about that here, then we're not worried about what we're supposed to be worried about, which is the reason why we're here, right? A little bit more negatively than before. Do you understand? Like you get that little negative twist, that little fire in your belly. Now, Cancer, this might be a little bit difficult. We often mistake, and there's other signs that are a little bit more attributed to this turning emotion into fuel, whereas you're really, really good at being emotional and in tuned with your emotions. I don't know if you know how to turn them into fuel the way, and you understand? Not to say that all cancers are more, mutable. Anyway. We have the King of Swords and how you would have handled it in the past. Now, this is quite interesting because I really don't know if it came out in the reverse. Like, you would have handled it like they're opening the door to handle it, which doesn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense. But there's a possibility that emotionally or mentally, you might have handled it this way. Now it's to actually put it into action. or however you might have been more prone to opening up and understanding why people do what they do, being a little bit more compassionate, being a little bit more in tune to the other person. You understand? Not putting that twist of fire to fuel forward movement. Do you understand? All right. At the pit of your stomach. Now, this is very, very important to the reading for what I see. This is the driving force of any obstacle that would get in your way. See, because in your subconscious, you're still hearing the voice of someone before you. You're still hearing that haunting voice, the brainwashing, that you can't do that. You're not smart enough to do that. You're not tall enough to ride that ride. You're not pretty enough to be a model. Who the hell said so? I'm perfect the way I am. But it's going to be a learning attribute to go ahead and do that. I think that when you take enough steps, it'll be second nature, it'll be muscle memory to go ahead and remember to the depths of your soul that you are absolutely worth that. And there's a bunch of you out there, I know, that was just saying, well, I already know my worth. Well, that's good. There's like 95% of people that probably don't. Let them get their message too. You'll have your time. Okay, now in the forefront, there is still like a homesickness, I think. I think there's a homesickness, and it's not necessarily from or for the town, more like the situation, the comfort zone, the nostalgia, right? And it's starting to kind of manifest or come to the surface that this is one of the things that you're facing, right? Oh, I didn't realize why I didn't want to go. It's because I would miss home. I didn't realize that I never left to go on these long excursions because I would miss the kids, right? Or that feeling of comfort, right? Those of us who haven't ever really soaked up enough comfort in our life, we're really continuing to grasp it. But the fact of the matter is that our comfort zone should be within ourselves, where this degradation is happening, or where this is sprouting from, right? Once we learn how to stop second guessing ourselves, then we open the avenue, or we leave the hands open to receive something way better. Maybe like an Ace of Cups. I don't know. Maybe like the King of Wands, right? And I know I'm jumping the gun, but even just the Knight of Wands, that would be cool. Page of Wands, it's also right here, right? You're ready. You're raring to go. There's supportive people around you, right? You seem to be surrounding yourself. If it's not by chance, it's on purpose, but you seem to be surrounding yourself by people with direction, and they're just kind of bringing you along with the tidal wave, and you are open for this transformation. You are open for this. You're flexible, you're attentive, you're just letting yourself be there, and that is fantastic, right? Ten of Cups. All right. So the person that you're dealing with, they might not be the best one to give you the advice. You might not feel very, very connected to this person because what they got going on at home is perfect. It's beautiful. Surrounding, of course they can say, don't worry about that. You're a lucky person. You're a very lucky person to have found the spouse that you have. Mine's hell on wheels. I gotta worry about it. But just because you don't identify with them doesn't mean that the chicken came before the egg, or the egg came before the chicken. Whichever way you believe, there's probably a truth to it. They say stop worrying about it, worry about this instead. There's more than one reason why they're doing that. That's because confidence denotes that that is what you're worth. That is the respect that you're worth, right? Yeah. And if it's not, that person, the truth will bubble to the surface. The truth will reveal itself. That person will fall away, but you have made space for somebody that respects you, somebody that honors you, somebody that's worth this new version of yourself that you're creating to come in and fill that space, right? And then there's also, don't worry about that, because if you're worried about that, you're not worried about this, and you're here for this, right? So you might as well put your full focus on this while you're here, as not to be distracted. The Queen of Cups, clarifying the Queen of Swords in reverse. This negative way, this fire, this propulsion forward, just because I see it like that doesn't mean I feel it's that way. It's kind of like a little mental manipulation is what I'm feeling is going on. We're kind of like hypnotizing ourselves to focus, like the Olympians before the big meet, you know? The only thing they know is that track. They've forgotten about Thanksgiving dinner. They've forgotten about drinks at Applebee's. They've forgotten about all those kind of things. The only thing they see is the track, right? And oftentimes I'll use the analogy through a lot of my clients is that race the track, not the cars. Because if I'm racing the cars in the race, I'm focusing on the cars in the race, I'm probably going to hit a wall. But if I focus on the track, be I first, be I last, I'll at least have a better chance at making the finish line. For God's sake, make the finish line. Yes. Okay. So with this, pulling it all up, right? Investing, taking inventory, and then ending up at the Seven of Pentacles in reverse, which is uprooting and letting go of that thing that you absolutely could not let go of before. That thing that your mind has stayed on now, looking back, it looks a lot better than it did when you were in it, right? But not worrying about it is not separating yourself or uprooting it or alienating it. You understand what I'm saying? You're just not obsessed about it. You're obsessed about learning the new trade. You're obsessed about the new thing. You're obsessed about the journey, right? You're obsessed about completing, right? Yes. Focus. All right. Now, why in the heck? Okay, so clarifying the King of Swords is the Seven of Swords, right? Honestly speaking, if I would have handled it in the past before that I could not trust this person, then I would have never left to go to work. I would have never left 8 hours a day if I couldn't trust the person in my house, right? I would have stayed there with them, watched them. You can't do that. Can't do that here. You have to be confident. Spirit is directing you to be confident, secure, focused on money or material gains, not necessarily as a rule, but as a situational awareness. That if you're preventing me, if you're taking all my focus because you're untrustworthy, and I know it, if you're taking all my focus, you're stopping me from succeeding at all, because now I got to sit here and babysit you, right? But if I focus on my money and my stability, like I said, what is surrounding me, what I'm surrounding myself with has to change eventually, right? The trash has to take itself out. It has to. I am vibrating at a new frequency. I'm vibrating at a new level. I'm talking in terms that the old me and the people I used to hang around, they no longer really comprehend, right? But I'm learning that. I'm learning what to let go of. I'm learning to confidently turn my emotions into fuel to propel me further forward, right? Now let's take a look at this subconscious. All right. I feel a very large amount of anxiety right now, right? What if you do this, then this, and this is going to happen, and the house is going to burn down, and oh my God, everything's going to happen. And not to say that you're actually thinking that, but I think those butterflies in your stomach, I think that those of you suffering or going through some sort of anxiety right now, there's a really big part of you is you're looking and waiting and almost half-ass expecting this thing, this negative thing, that the odds are kind of even stacked against you. They have 3 cups dumped. You only have 2 cups standing. But if you focus on the 2 cups that are standing, then that voice complaining, bitching, crying, fussing about the 3 dumped cups, that's eventually going to fade away, right? It will. Bottom of the deck is the Empress, right? Court of Taurus, Virgo. Clarifying the Hangman right here. All right. So what I have here is this new perspective. This, even time is on my side. I have a new way of looking at things, right? There's not just one thing that governs my perspective anymore. I'm kind of suspending myself a little bit and allowing myself to transform my thinking from other people around me. Not to say that I haven't always been impressionable like this or flexible like this, but I had been flexible to one particular type of person on one particular level or vibration. Now I'm opening myself up and mingling with different people that have different perspectives. So I'm still kind of flexible, still kind of impressionable. But now we're testing the waters and we're seeing, hey, look, this really does work. Let's just watch them a little bit longer. Let's just see where they go just a little bit longer. Man, they were right about that too. This is so freaking cool. Right. Oh, okay. So bottom of the deck is the World. There we go. All right. So in your head, you do still see the past, what you were clinging to, as it's over. Like you were clinging to it. It's a complete cycle. I don't wash my hands of it. I let it go. And honestly, I don't really necessarily see that in the cards. I just think that you have to, instead of being more realistic, I think you have to be a little bit extra right now for fuel and focus, right? So it's important at this time to control your emotions and don't do anything you would regret later if that wasn't indeed the cause or what was actually going on. You know what I'm saying? Right now, the spurs are on, the blinders are on, the carrot is in front, and Spirit is leading you in a direction with these blinders on, trying to get you somewhere. Maybe it's because the person that you are dealing with deserves it. You know, maybe it's because you finally deserve it. Maybe y'all are worth it. But right now, if you keep focusing on this past thing, then you will stay stuck in there. And it's time to prove to yourself and everybody around you your worth, because you know it's there. It's laid out. It's paved in front of you like the yellow brick road. There's only one way to go. And it's like crowd surfing. They're almost like manually bringing you there. It's awesome. If I were you, I'd just enjoy the ride. Okay, so the King of Pentacles here with the Ten of Pentacles and the Devil, card of Capricorn, and the Two of Swords right here, and a defensive, procrastinating defensive. Like I said, could be addictions, jealousy. It could be jealousy. It could be a lot of jealousy with the reality of something, you having to let something go, you having to mentally remove yourself from focusing on that thing so that you could put more focus and effort into this thing over here. That it might have been a little bit unhealthy, a little bit toxic, the situation that y'all had found yourself in, that you are now making steps to progress out of, right? Those defense mechanisms. And this, it's almost like a separation of sorts, right? I've got to be steadfast. Just because I'm not sending a check home, or just because I'm not worried about that person anymore, doesn't mean that I'm still not secure in it and doing it for myself, right? What's back here? Yeah, blocking out the aggression, blocking out the competition, blocking out the distractions, right? If you have to, separate yourself from it, right? Defend yourself from it. Focus on the issue at hand and moving forward and getting better. And if that thing, I think that thing was, I think it's yours. I think it's still yours. I think it's still yours. You understand? But for the time being, it's very, very important. And you've noticed the kind of reoccurring theme over the last couple of months is that there has been this overwhelming need to separate yourself from it. And I think there's a definite reason. I don't think that they were beneficial to the financial outcome, or independence, or responsible, you know? I think all in all, mainly, it could have been that their essence was a little bit irresponsible and not conducive to the life that they were speaking about wanting, that you weren't able to provide, or you were falling short of. Actually, their energy was not conducive to that. So separating yourself from that, you understand? Yeah. Moving away from that Queen of Pentacles in reverse. So, and unapologetically. We're going to look a little bit more. I want to look a little bit more into the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, the thing that you're moving away from. And then I want to look a little bit more into the people that you're dealing with, or the situation that you're dealing with, because they do seem to be like two separate things. And I know y'all want to know about both. All right. So the person or situation that Cancer is dealing with now, I have the Fool and the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. I have the Fool in reverse and the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. I also have the Two of Wands. There is a decision that needs to be made that doesn't seem like is being made. Something's holding up the progress because of an inability or a fear of leaping. This could be a person that is telling you not to go, not to do this. Don't do this. It's pointless. Don't do this. It's useless. I have the Seven of Cups, delusionary. It's in the upright. Trying to delude you could be, like I said, stay here, drink at the bar with me. Don't go anywhere. What are you doing? What am I going to do if you leave? I don't know what to do. And they're trying to hold back your progress. They're trying to stop you from moving forward. Maybe because they have a fear of moving forward. The King of Swords, right. Oh, okay. Now how you would have handled it in the past is this King of Swords, right? Could be an Aquarius, but the signs really aren't important. But how you would have handled it is listening probably to that thing, right? I wonder if everything that they say is actually going to happen. Three dump cups, 3 wands. You know what I'm saying? I wonder if it's going to go that way. Like you have this overwhelming feeling that this is the most predominant voice in your head. And they're telling you, no, you can't do it. They're telling you, no, don't do it. It's a fear, I think, of theirs that they're projecting on you. But it's not realistic, and it's really misleading and self-serving. All right. Bottom of the deck right now is the devil. This is the thing that you're unchaining yourself from, or you should be unchaining yourself from. Like I said, could be a Capricorn, or it could be just you needing to release yourself at this time. And because it came out on this side with the home right here and the complete cycle, I do believe in the Five of Wands in reverse. Something wasn't working, so I'm just going to stop fighting about it. I'm going to close the cycle, move on. All right, let's pull for the other side real quick. All right. 3 cards. This Ten of Pentacles in reverse. 9 of Swords in reverse. Yeah, this is that person. This is the one that you're going to be dealing with, or you're currently dealing with in September. The new person or situation. I have the Hierophant in reverse, the 10 of Pentacles in reverse, and the 9 of Swords in reverse. Subconsciously, I don't think that this is necessarily a person that I would be taking advice from. You understand? I would. Me. This isn't necessarily a person I would be taking advice from. They're kind of non-committal. They're kind of irresponsible. And with the 10 of Pentacles right there, they could be actually going through a divorce themselves. They could be going through a split up and a breakup and or a divorce, and that's probably why they're not really worried about it anymore. Or actions and reactions that they've been going through is actually causing this nonchalant, I don't care kind of view, because they're not going to indulge you in the specifics of their home life, just that they don't care about it anymore. However, it is kind of the fuel and the carrot and the push that you need at this time. Like I was saying, don't get overwhelmed by this. Don't do anything silly during this time, but they are right for all intents and purposes. Just don't jump off the cliff, go, hey, look, that's a nice jump. That looks exciting. I got a video. But don't follow their exact footsteps. Just kind of understand their perspective. All right. See the 10 of Swords? They also could be, it's a possibility that they could be losing their position soon. 10 of Swords, they're showing face as probably on the chopping block, and then not willing to go and do what you're willing to go and do. But they have the information you seek, don't they? From what I'm seeing. Let's see. How are they showing face? Queen of Wands. Confident. Bottom of the deck. 3 of Wands. All right, so this could be a mentor or a teacher, somebody that has been there, done that, knows the path that you're going to take, can give you good advice, but don't try to be exactly like them. Just take their advice for what it is and apply it to your life. Do you understand? As it fits. But don't go overboard with it. Their opportunities are coming to a close. They could be, going back maybe to the office. Whatever is happening right now, it's almost like somebody passing the baton at the relay race, right? Like this person seems to be coming out of the game, be it offshore, pipeline, the person that's training you before they take a new position as management or go home and retire. The retiree is like training you at this time. So you're entry level, they're retiring for the analogy purposes. It seems like they're coming out of the game. They know what they're talking about, they know what they're doing, but for all intents and purposes, they are. It is the message you seek, not the messenger. So don't get too attached to this person and don't get too detached from this person. But detach from this person and cling to this person. If that makes any sense at all, I think Spirit knows what it's doing. We're going to get 3 cards to close real quick. And then see what we got. I have the Ace of Cups and the King of Wands. Oh, that's what I like to see. I love to see it. Bottom of the deck is the Temperance in reverse, right? And that Queen of Swords, there's that fire and that impatience. You are chomping at the bit. But here, what I do see as the summary is confidence and that wellspring of self-love, and what you're going through and what's happening right now is letting yourself back in from wherever you had been, that cold, that unwanted, that complaining, that anxiety, that fear, that lack, that not being good enough, that mistrust, that, like I said, feeling of lack and need to hold on to something, right? Into something bigger, a changed perspective and abundance. Claim it. Claim it, Cancer. So, until next time, I think that's all I have for you. If you'd like to know or see more, you can like, comment, subscribe. Do hit the bell if you want to be informed next time I upload for your freestyle read in about 2 weeks. And until next time, Cancer, thanks for stopping by at Jive Tarot.